Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar here with myself and Rachel. Please say hello in the chat. I want to hear from you, where you're coming from, how your day is going. So you're in the right place. This is the live webinar, 6 Steps to 6 Figures Profit with Kindle Publishing in 2020. And we're really excited to have you join us today. Hi, Suvi. Nice to see you. Where are you coming from, Suvi? Hi, Belinda. So yes, welcome to the webinar. We're going to get started in about a minute or so. We're just going to give people a chance to log in and join us. We're really looking forward to talking to you today and sharing a lot with you on our approach and our strategies and everything that we love to talk about. Hi, Shrenika from Sydney. Awesome. Guess it must be early morning there in Australia. Belinda's from London, Ontario. Hey. Sufi's in Portland. Hi. Awesome. She says, I've discovered your stuff. Just discovered your stuff. Great content. Learned a lot. Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that, Sufi. So welcome, everyone. I'm sure more people are going to be rolling in. This is the webinar, 6 Steps to 6 Figures Profit with Kindle Publishing in 2020. So let's just dive right into it. You can probably see us on the bottom of the screen. There's me, there's Rachel. And we'll just get right into it. So we're going to be looking at the 6 steps to 6 figures profit with Kindle Publishing in 2020. So I was really excited to do this webinar. Rachel and I have been talking quite closely for the past probably couple months, really diving into process and building foundation and talking about what it really takes to kind of get to the next level. Rachel's had incredible growth in the past year, and she'll be sharing all about that in the webinar. But yeah, it's been really great to connect with her and talk about what on the deeper level we can encourage you to do that's going to help set you up for success in this business. All right, so my goal for the next hour is to help you gain clarity on what you really need to focus on to make a 6-figure online income with Kindle Publishing in 2020. And I know that you're here because you have dreams and you have goals and you want to see a certain shift or change in your life and in your experience. And I've worked with so many people over the past 5 years, hundreds of people, and I've seen so many people change their lives. And I want to encourage you that you can do this, that it is totally within your realm of ability and possibility. And I just want to help you realize your goals and help you create your foundation for success. So if you stay to the very end, which again is going to be about an hour, so we're going to have a live Q&A session with Rachel and myself. So you can ask any questions about anything we talk about or whatever. The table will be open, so we can take your questions. So that'll be really great to connect. And so what makes this different? You've probably been on webinars before, maybe even some of my webinars before. What makes this different is that we are going beyond the tactics, the strategies, the doing, the how-tos, into building a foundation under that is going to allow you to thrive in your business. Whether it's Kindle Publishing or anything that you're going to be undertaking in the realm of business or personal development or anything like that, we want to talk about what it really takes to make massive change in your experience, and so that you can bring and draw into your life the things you want to feel, the things you want to experience, the different levels of growth that you want, because there are certain things that need to be done in order for you to have the proper foundation to have lasting, consistent success. And so we're going to talk really detailed about that. All right. So an introduction. Hi, I'm Carla Marie. Many of you probably know me. If you don't know me or you just kind of started following my work, I'm a Kindle publishing expert and coach. I've been in this realm for the past, well, I started publishing in 2013. Oh my gosh, crazy. So that's 7 years ago. I've been teaching for the past 5 years, and that's become my prominent focus, is teaching and encouraging and lifting people up so that they can also experience success with self-publishing. So I've worked with hundreds of students across 6 continents in the past 5 years. I haven't worked with anyone from Antarctica yet that I know of. And the combined revenue across all of my students, even just in the year 2019 alone, was multiple 7 figures. So my teaching, what I've shared, what I've brought to the table over the past 5 years has had a real impact on people's lives. And that is what fuels me and what really fulfills me. And I feel now that it is Rachel and I have talked about this a lot, it's my purpose to serve and to lift people up and encourage them and be that bridge to help you get to your next level of growth. So that's sums up about me. And here's Rachel. So she grew her Kindle business in 2019 from $650 per month in January to $21,000 per month in December of last year. So massive growth. It was amazing being able to witness that growth and help her out along the way. And she just quit her corporate job to be a full-time author. So that's so exciting. Yeah. Why don't we talk a little bit about that, Rachel? We were just talking before the webinar started about your day-to-day. So why don't you share a little bit?
Yeah, it's been a little crazy, and my last day at my corporate job is actually tomorrow. I hand in my badge, my laptop. It hasn't quite hit me yet, to be honest, but I have been working in this field now for 7 years. And
in your corporate job?
Yes, in my corporate job.
Yeah.
And found Carla 2 years ago, and it's just been life-changing. You know, to be honest, it's something that when I share with my coworkers and my boss, like what I'm doing and that I'm leaving, I have so many people telling me like, I'm so jealous. I wish I could do that. And I'm like, you can, like, you know, whatever it is you want to pursue, like we don't have to be tied to that corporate 9-to-5 lifestyle. So it's amazing. It's a wonderful feeling. It's something that I've been working towards. And, you know, like I've talked with Carla along the way. It was not like just a, you know, rash decision. It was a calculated decision, and I really made sure that my business was in a great place before I made that choice. But you know, it's freedom now, and it's pretty surreal. It's pretty crazy.
That's amazing. I love it. That's so exciting. What a great shift. I'm so excited for you. Okay, so we'll talk about this a little bit. So Rachel and I both have done a lot of things right along the way when it comes to self-publishing. You know, when I was growing my business years ago, you know, I sought out mentors. I tried a lot of different approaches. I focused on what was working and I repeated what was working. So I did a lot of things right. And I'm sure Rachel can comment on this too. But I've also done a lot of things wrong over the past years and had those obstacles and those stumbling blocks where I focused on the wrong things, or I got caught up in shiny object syndrome, or feeling like I didn't know enough and I had to keep on gathering information before I felt confident to take a step forward. Just want to let you know that no matter where you're getting your training and information from, whether you're learning from me, whether you're learning from, there's so many other amazing teachers in this space. Everyone is bringing value to the table. So you can learn something from everybody. I'm not going to say like, oh, don't go learn from so-and-so. It's not going to be good. You can definitely value from everybody. So no matter who you're learning from, know that in order to have success, there needs to be that foundation within you of belief in your ability to change your life. And once you have that belief, you're going to be able to step forward and take the action that you need to take and have more clarity. So one thing that I definitely did wrong is I didn't have that clarity for a while, and I was just kind of flailing and you know, taking and just focusing on things that weren't working. And so once I kind of like refined my my view on that really helped. And another thing that I did wrong starting out is I tried to do everything by myself, and I wasn't part of a community. And so I was just testing stuff out. And granted, things I did test out worked. Eventually I found things that worked, and it really did accelerate my results. But I was doing that on my own. And as soon as I joined a mastermind, like a community, a group where there was accountability and there was sharing, and I was kind of almost felt like I had colleagues. There was a group of people that I can rely on and communicate with regularly. That's when my results really started to grow. And that's when I was encouraged by the group I was in to set certain goals in a certain way. So setting goals in a way where it's a little beyond my comfort zone, where I really connected with my goals daily through journaling, that kind of a thing, to accelerate my results. Because I remember when I joined this group I was in, it was a mastermind of it was of 10 people, and we were all like Kindle publishers. I think when I joined them, I was making like $2,000 a month. And when I joined in September. And they asked me, what's your goal for December, end of December of that year? And I'm like, oh, probably to make like $5,000. And then they're like, what? That's not enough. So really encouraged me to think beyond what I thought in the moment was possible based on like logic. To something a little bit more expansive, to kind of get in that place of feeling a little uncomfortable, and that place of discomfort where you have to suspend belief and trust and kind of step forward with faith and just feel alignment and connectedness to your goal. That is where the magic happens, and that's where you can start to feel a little bit more like creativity when it comes to asking the question, how can I reach that goal? So in that first year, like I said, I set my goal of being, at first I was going to be $5,000 a month by the end of December. And then I set it higher. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to set it for like $7,500. And then I ended up reaching $10,000 per month that December. And I mean, this was years ago. This was 2014. So things were a little bit different in the approach and the way that, even the way the Kindle store ran. There wasn't KDP Select or anything at that point. It really affirmed for me the power of thinking expansively and really aligning myself in every way with what I wanted to create. I don't know if you have any comment on this doing things right, doing things wrong thing here, Rachel.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like I said in my interview with you before, I feel like I did everything wrong because, just even when it came to like just kind of following some of the standard, like best practice procedures throughout the course. But apart from that, my mentality was just a massive hindrance for me because I would set ridiculously low goals for myself, for one thing, which, at the time I didn't think that it was anything so crazy to be like, well, I know I'm making $500. So next month my goal is to make $700. At the time I thought, well, that's a logical goal. And it's a very safe goal, but like, it's so true. When you put those goals out there that are beyond what you think you can reach, your mindset will change along with it.
Yeah.
And it will start inspiring you to work, to be more aligned with your business, to work harder, to just be more focused. And I feel like that's exactly what happened with me too, where I suddenly stopped doing okay, I'm going to make, $1,000 more this month. And I was like, no, I'm going to go for it. And that's when it turned around. And it was, it was so much my mindset. And, it's crazy how that can impact your business and stuff, because it really can just, if you're constantly sitting there worried and stressed about like, oh, I don't have this, I can't do that. I'm telling you, that just feeds that self-doubt, and it's an endless cycle, and it's really harmful.
Yeah, I totally agree. Okay, so I've been in this realm teaching people, taught hundreds of people over the past 5 years. So I've seen a whole range of results from students. And so this is what I've discovered. That strategies and tactics only account for 10% of success. So even if you look at people who have gone through my program or gone through other people's programs, not everyone has, multiple six-figure businesses, but everyone has access to the same information. So you have to look at like, what is it that actually helps people be successful? And notice that there are certain commonalities in attitude across my most successful students. And that attitude is one of openness, alignment, gratitude, abundance mentality rather than lack mentality, and true belief in the possibility that, or the reality that they have this amazing potential within them. Because if you're drawn to have a certain experience, if you really feel in your heart that you want to have this freedom of, having a business where you can do it from anywhere, or leave corporate America, or do anything like that, you have that strong desire within you because it's already in your potential. And it's your job now to align deeply with that why, align deeply with what you want to create, feel it now in the present moment, and then just take everything step by step in order to bring that into reality. And you don't need to know every tactic and strategy that is going to make up your entire process. That's impossible, and that leads to overwhelm. What I find is best is, again, to stay in alignment and then ask yourself, what is the first step that I need to take in this moment or just today that's going to bring me closer to my goal? And just take it step by step in that way. And so that's why it's really great also to have a community where you can talk to people and communicate about what other people are doing that's working, and talk to people who've been where you've been, and get their input on what your next best step is. So it's really important. So when I say strategies and tactics only account for 10% of success, I mean that the other 90% of that is your mindset. And it's like, I can't stress this enough, because your mindset and your thoughts and your beliefs about what is possible for you is going to dictate 100% where your focus is going to be and the kind of action you're going to take, and whether or not you're going to have the inspiration and the pull to take that action. Because if you, at your core, don't believe that this is possible for you, you're going to get stuck, and it's going to be very difficult to take action. But you can change your beliefs, and you can change your beliefs through your thoughts, through reprogramming. So we can talk about that a little bit more too. And I've also discovered in the past 5 years, there is a replicable process that can be followed to build a profitable Kindle publishing business. And many of my students have done it over and over and over again. And it's not rocket science. It's not something that's only reserved for people that are like super tech savvy, or already have like degrees in marketing, or are like professional writers. Because you have an option, of course, of writing stuff yourself or hiring ghostwriters. So there definitely is a blueprint, a process that can be followed. I don't know if you want to comment on any of this here, Rachel.
I would just say, what you just resonate, what you just said, and it's really like the way that you lay out the process is just really such in a digestible manner that just makes sense, and it's not convoluted. It's very like she said, it's not rocket science, and I just think that is important, because I was one of those people that was so scared of anything like businessy marketing. Yeah. I was like, oh goodness, I just want to write. I just want to be an author. But then like once I actually got into it, it was really interesting, and it was like, okay, this makes sense. And I was really enjoyable, because I started to see that like, oh, well, if I do learn more about this marketing stuff, my business is just going to blow up. So awesome. Yeah, I mean, don't be intimidated. I think that would be my biggest takeaway from that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I have people of all ages in my program, people of all walks of life from all over the world. I love hearing the success stories. And not everyone is looking to build this massive six-figure business. Some people are like, oh, I make an extra $2,000 a month and allows me to like pay for my car payments and like little extras, or save for vacation. Like, you can create this to suit you and, to really suit your lifestyle. And I'll give you an example too of, and actually I've been thinking about interviewing them for my YouTube channel, but it's actually my dad and my stepmother. So they have a Kindle publishing business that they started a couple of years ago, publishing Cozy Mysteries. And they are retired, and they spend their winters, well, they live on Vancouver Island, but they spend their winters in Europe for 5 months doing a house sit. So they go and they go and stay at someone's house, taking care of their house in France. And in England, they kind of split it up for 5 months. So they love doing that. But they, their Kindle publishing business, they make about $100 a day, and they're retired, and they're just over the moon about that. Like, in retirement, to be bringing in $3,000 a month from a Kindle publishing business, like, why not? And I can tell you, they're in their mid-70s, and if they can do this, seriously, anyone can do it. So, and they're not even doing romance. They're doing, well, they have like, I think they have a clean Regency romance pen name, which is kind of minor, but their main pen name is Cozy Mystery. So there are a lot of different options in this business. But so anyhow, all walks of life can do this. All right. And so we discovered this the hard way. So what I mean by that is I had stumbles, I had obstacles, things took longer than they needed to. And that is inevitable, especially when you're doing this on your own and you don't have a community and you don't have a process to follow. So the hard way for me was, or the hard way that I see for a lot of other people is that they're always looking for a silver bullet or a shortcut strategy for success. And you'll see this pop up. And I mean, I've seen this over the past 5 years, you know, certain like strategies will come up that everyone starts doing. And it's like, oh, wow, this is great. But then something changes with the rules in the Kindle store. And it's like, oh, we can't do that anymore. And so that goes away. And then it's like, oh, well, you know, since I can't do that anymore, my results change. And some people, they adapt really well and they're able to thrive. Other people don't adapt as well. So stop looking for the silver bullets, stop looking for shortcuts. If you're learning something from any teachers that seem kind of sketchy or questionable or black hat, gray hat, which means sketchy and questionable, I'd advise you not to do that and really ground back into building a real business here. So another thing that people do that makes it harder for themselves is paying attention and effort to the wrong things, resulting in burnout and giving up. So I've seen this a lot. I saw it early in my business when I was like just trying so many different strategies and hacks and all these sorts of things, not having clarity on what works. And then at a point, you know, it just seems like you're not getting any traction or moving ahead when you're doing those things. And that's when people give up. And the thing is, everyone has stumbles and obstacles sometimes. So, I mean, Rachel can talk about it. Any of my successful students who are like doing amazing and have been for years, in the beginning, they had obstacles. The only thing that's different with them is that they persisted and they kept going. They didn't give up. So I encourage you, when you have obstacles, reach out to your community, whether it's my community or if you're in a different community, reach out to people. Like, that is going to make all the difference for you. And the hard way is not having a solid mindset foundation for success. So relying solely on strategies and hacks and tactics, and not grounding in your why, not grounding in your belief that you can actually create amazing change in your life. That's going to really slow you down. So that is the hard way. And we want to show you a better way, easier way of building a six-figure Kindle publishing business. So I have to put a little disclaimer here. Results are not typical. So results vary across, sorry, I have an error there, but results vary according to, oh no, I don't, sorry. Anyhow, results vary according to many factors, including the time, effort, and monetary investment that you put into your business, as well as external market conditions. So your results may be worse, the same, or better than my previous students' results. And this is not a get-rich-quick opportunity. Sometimes get emails from people being like, okay, I want to build a business that's going to bring in $10,000 a month in the next 60 days. And I'm like, this is the wrong option. This is not the opportunity for you. You need to build an audience, and this is a real business. So this is not get rich quick. So let's get into it. The 6 steps to 6 figures profit in 2020. So step number 1 is to align with your why. And I know this probably sounds cliche to you by this point, because you hear it all over the place with like influencers and, you know, mindset motivation gurus and whatnot. But this is so true. This is what is really going to fuel you and allow you to persist and keep moving forward as you're building your business, is what is your why? And we're talking going deeper than, oh, I want to make more money, or I want to get that new car, or I want to give that big house. It's like, what feeling is that going to bring you? What kind of emotions is that experience going to bring you? And you can identify those emotions with words. It may be freedom, it may be love, that kind of a thing. But more importantly, you want to feel those emotions in your body as your deep why. And, you know, if you're like, I want to take care of, I want to be able to provide for my family and have security, really feel in your body what that is and what that feels like, and spend time every day doing this. And so this is something I've been doing for the past 6 years through journaling. And I encourage my students to do it as well. I don't know if you want to comment on this at all, Rachel.
Yeah, I think that this resonates with me a lot because, you know, when I first started this journey, Carla out the gate, you know, was like, know your why. And I just kind of was like, I want to quit my job. You know, that's a pretty obvious thing. I don't like my job. But, you know, that wasn't really motivation because that job's always there. So it was like an easy plan B. Like, I have to go to work every day. So if this doesn't work out, whatever. But once I really focused in on that and started journaling and just kind of really, like she said, like feel it, started picturing what exactly I want my life to be like, game changer.
Yeah.
And I 100% mean that. Because I was, let me just say, I was completely skeptical. I never believed in like knowing your why and stuff like that. I just thought, it's just all work hard and that's it. No, it's not. This is such an important step. And I think it's such a great foundation because it will always, because motivation will fail you. Let me tell you, it's not always going to be there. But when you have that why to fall back on, that's key.
Yeah, for sure. I like how you mentioned motivation, because motivation is kind of like a pushing, a forcing, you know, it's like, it's really over efforting sometimes, and that is not sustainable. So sometimes, of course, in your business, you have to grind out when you don't feel like it. Like sometimes you have to take some action when it's like, oh, you know, I'd rather like sit on the couch and watch a movie. Like that's just the reality. That sometimes has to happen. But as like a core foundation, you need to have that alignment with your why, because that is going to pull you and it's going to bring in inspired action so that you can work and flow. And that's going to be, we're going to talk about that next. So step number 2 is, once you're really have that foundation in your why, allow flow and momentum. So really dig into examining your internal and external conditions in your life and see where there's resistance to flow. And so what I mean by that is, internally, look at your beliefs and look at what beliefs you have that feel good and that feel like in alignment with the life you want to create. And start to focus in and feel those beliefs more, and feel the beliefs that are helping to inspire your action and pull you into wanting to take action, to create what you want to do. And once you identify those beliefs, and once you identify what really helps kind of like ignite action to come from within, so you're feeling like you're being pulled rather than having to force and to push, so it's feeling lighter, not feeling as heavy, that's when you start to create momentum, which creates habits. And so those internal conditions are looking at your beliefs, looking at your thought processes, looking at your conditions, looking at how it feels to be taking action. And then the external conditions are things like looking at what is bringing resistance in from the outside, what is preventing you from taking action you need to take. It may be distractions, it might be a smartphone, it might be it might be social media, it might be toxic people, in your life. Unfortunately, sometimes there are people around us that, you know, especially when you start on a path of growth and expansion, sometimes people who are not kind of vibrating at the same level of you as you will communicate to you that, you know, they don't believe in you, or they think that it's like, you know, it's a waste of time or whatever. And sometimes you have to choose to limit your exposure to those people and instead surround yourself with people who are going to lift you up. And so you can maintain that high vibration where you're really connecting to your why and you're able to work in flow. And another thing is, for momentum, an amazing thing to do is identify the time of day where you feel like you're in flow more and you're more productive and you work better. And for me, I know that's early morning when I wake up, my mind, you know, wake up, do my meditation, my mind is refreshed, dive into work at that point, and I'm able to get so much done in a shorter period of time than later in the day when there's more, you know, I'm getting texts, there's like taking care of my son, things like that. So identifying where you can get more work done in flow time of day wise is important too. Do you have any comment on that?
I completely agree. I think that, you know, trying to find that just trying to find what works best for you. I know a lot of people want to force certain things, and like if you feel like I'm not a morning person, then, you know, you're a night owl. Do it then, you know.
Totally.
Like,
yes.
I used to try to be like that because I'm type A, and so I try to be like, okay, I have like a journal that's like an hourly journal. I'm like 8 a.m. meditates, you know, 9, and it's just, you figure out what works best for you and when you can be the most productive. And I think that that's really important, and not be so hard on yourself.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just not, and I mean, we've talked about this a lot, and I'm going to talk about it a lot more just in content wise through my channel and through my group. But like, having too much stress in your body it really is something that prevents you from being in flow and from being in a state of creativity. And so looking at how you can structure your work in a way that you can put containers around it so you can be the most productive in, you know, a container of time, and then have time for rest, have time for relaxing. And when I say relaxing, I don't mean like watching TV or like, I mean, watching a movie once in a while, it's great or whatever, but I mean, and not, you know, being on social media isn't relaxing. It's actually very agitating for your nervous system. But taking time to go for a walk in nature, doing meditation every day, taking time to have a bath, taking time to just do nothing and, you know, just relax and read or things like that, where you can really bring your nervous system into a state of relaxation, because that is actually going to help you be more productive. And I think that should be your number one priority, is figuring out how you can relax more and bring more ease into your life. So you actually create a nervous system habit of being more at ease, more relaxed. And then even when you're working hard and you're in a state of having some stressors, you can still have that foundation of ease. And meditation is amazing for doing that. Like having a stillness practice is amazing for creating that foundation, as well as a yoga practice for releasing resistance in your body and really feeling that sense of softness and ease and relaxation, even when you're putting in some effort. Okay, let's go to the next one. Oh, that should say step number 3. Step number 3 is as you're approaching your business, ask, how can I serve? And so if you're approaching your business from a place of being in service of other people, this is automatically going to help you feel more fulfilled. It's going to help you, it's going to fuel your business with amazing energy that is palpable, that people can really feel. And so how can I serve is essentially doing niche research. And so looking at what is in demand, what do people want to read, what is going to bring people pleasure, what is going to enhance people's lives. And you can do this by doing niche research in the Kindle store. So this is a really high level activity that I recommend you do regularly, is just look at, it's like, how can I stay relevant? How can I continue to serve an audience? And if you're already building an audience, we're going to talk about this in the next point, but talk to them regularly and see, it's like, what do they want? What do they love reading about? What really inspires them? What makes them feel amazing when they're reading books? And And yeah, so niche research. And if you don't have that basic foundation of like solid niche research and a really good kind of a foundation of niches that you're addressing in your books, unfortunately, it's going to be really hard to build an audience. And so what I recommend too, and I've communicated this a lot through a lot of my content, is having multiple niches within your books. So it's not enough to just be like, oh, I'm doing older man, younger woman romance, and that's it. Like, that's not enough. You can have that, absolutely, but then you need to have it layered with some other trending niches as well. So do you have anything to mention about that, Rachel?
Yeah, I think that, basically, I love the approach of how can I serve, because that is, if you really, really, really want to look at your customers as more than a dollar sign and a bottom line, because
absolutely,
it's otherwise like it just becomes another job, and you don't, and that's unfortunate. And I really think that these, it's I'm going to tell you, it's really cool when you start to like interact with your readers and they start emailing you or messaging you personally to be like, oh my goodness, I'm going through a hard time. Yeah. And your book like just was an escape for me for 2 hours last night. Like that. It makes you feel really good. It really does. And, and I love to pull my readers and talk to them and be like, what are you guys reading? Like, what are you super into right now? And I always keep in mind the top 100 of my category in Amazon. I'm always constantly looking at that, to stay relevant. But I also want to know what my readers want to read, because I care about that. I'm not just pumping out words to them. I want to know, I want to keep them invested, because I'm building a relationship with them.
I love that. And so that's why I brought up the next point, because it really ties into that. Build and serve sorry, you guys, I missed the R there. Build and serve your audience first. And that's what this is all about, is seeing this as your opportunity to have relationships with your readers. And these are real people. And so not just looking at your subscribers or your newsletter subscribers as numbers on a screen, not looking at your sales results as numbers on a screen. Like these are people who are being impacted by something you're creating and bringing into the world. And so the more you look at it in that way, and the amazing opportunity you have to enhance someone's life through this entertainment is incredible. And I love how you were saying, Rachel, like people reaching out to you, telling you how you really improve their day. Like, what more can you ask for when you're in this position? Like, it is really, really rewarding. So that's really awesome. Step 5 is focus on high quality. And I need to stress this, because if you're just, looking to invest as little as possible and just put up, just poor quality books, that's going to be reflected back to you in your results. And it's just not a good approach. Focus on having really high quality books, high quality writing, high quality editing, high quality covers. Your blurbs need to be spot on, like your descriptions. And of course, this is all covered in the program, but we don't want to be trying any shortcuts here. And I don't know what you have to say about that, Rachel, but I know all your work obviously is very high quality.
It wasn't at one time.
Yeah.
I unpublished a lot of my first books because, I didn't do that, unfortunately. And so it's okay to admit where your shortcomings, and just say, hey, I'm not a great graphic designer, so I'm going to outsource this because it should be professional looking. Or, I'm going to invest in an editor because self-editing does not catch everything. I can tell you that. You think you get it, but you don't.
Right. Because you have an editor that you work with exclusively that you're really close to, right? Like,
yes,
like a key part of your team.
Yeah. And she, we collaborate like hand in hand. It's there are times when it's rough. I'm like, oh boy, I got a lot of work, to do on this next draft, but it's so worth it, because when I look at like my reviews, I don't want to see a bunch of people giving 3 stars because it's like, great story, but wasn't edited. You're like, oh,
the worst.
That's something I could have just done.
Totally. Because that's something that's completely within your control, is like, I get it, so that it's at least like, grammatically, technically sound, because some of the, even go and look in the top 100, some of the like top authors, a lot of their negative reviews are things like that, where there's just carelessness with the editing process. So yeah, really important. Okay, step 6, fall in love with being a marketer. So I know for authors, sometimes it's really hard or daunting to step into being a marketer or putting that marketing hat on, because you feel like it's like slimy or it's icky or it's just something that you're uncomfortable with, unfamiliar with. But I encourage you to shift your attitude and see that being a marketer is your opportunity to really bring that enjoyment to as many people as possible. Your books are amazing and have the potential of impacting people on a huge, huge level. And you're doing them a disservice by not bringing it to their awareness and in front of them. And so, yeah, fall in love with being a marketer. I'd say don't just like learn it for like, oh, I just have to do this, but try and really love the process and love how it does give you that opportunity to create more relationships. And so part of falling in love with being a marketer, of course, part of that is really learning a process that is going to be effective, which for us, for Rachel and for myself with clients I work with and everything, is Facebook advertising. That's been the primary mode of getting the word out there as much as possible, but also email marketing is so important. And just like really, really seizing that opportunity to create your audience and connect with them and bring to them what they're looking for. Do you have any
I think number five just flows into that so well. Yeah. And that about, because if you have good quality books and content, you want to market that, because like I love my stories. There are times when like, and I get the copies of my books and I like give them to my sister so she can read them, and it's like I'm always like, what'd you think? Because I love the stories. And even if you don't come up with your own stories, like kind of fall in love with them as you read them from your writer, because it's a great way it's a great tool to have that knowledge and to really be passionate about it, to market it to people, because I love this. I don't even want to call it a job. This is my passion now, and I love it because I love the fact that I get to share these stories with people and make them laugh and, sometimes cry. I get people telling me like, oh my goodness, I cried.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
So yeah, like, let me tell you, I was terrified of the marketing and the business side of things. Like I didn't know anything about it. And then I felt overwhelmed, but actually once I got into it, I was like, and I started seeing the results. That was amazing, because I was like, this makes so much sense. And then I fell in love with it even more because it took the stress away. Because once I finally like fine-tuned it, and then I do teach this in Carla's course about exactly what I do and did and every single day. And once I saw like the results of that, it literally took a lot of the stress off of me, because I realized that like, hey, this is an excellent addition to my business that just turns it into this fine, well-oiled machine. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, sorry, there's one question here from Suvi. Do you direct your Facebook ads to a unique landing page on your website for each book, or a page with all the books, or directly to the Amazon page? We direct the traffic straight to Amazon, because it's, we're publishing exclusive to KDP, so just on Amazon. And you want to kind of reduce the number of clicks that people need to take in order to get to what you want them to do. So downside of that is you don't get any conversion data, because you can't install the Facebook pixel on the Amazon page, but you're able to get a lot of traffic to the Amazon product page through the process, through the advertising strategies, Facebook advertising strategies that we use and that we teach in the course. So Rachel just very recently contributed amazingly detailed Facebook ads training into my program. So you get to learn everything that she does from start to finish that has built up her business and really allowed her to excel, and to the place where she's having growth every month. And like she said, it's a well-oiled machine where she's more confident now. There isn't that like wondering like, oh no, what do I do next? It's like, oh, now I know what to do, based on the results, based on what she's seeing, how, the books are responding to ads, that kind of a thing. So it's a really great training. I'm really grateful for that. Okay, so let's go to the next one. And so now Rachel's case study, yay. So this is her, these are her earnings for last year. I love looking at this. So in January of 2019, she made about $650 in that month. And then in December of 2019, she made about $21,000 per month. So huge growth. Why don't you walk us through this, what happened here?
Sure. So as you can tell, January did not start out so great for me. I had, been publishing at that point for a full year. Actually, I published my first book in February of 2018. So I guess just shy of a year. And I had really just been struggling. It seemed like I could never just kind of get to a point where it was growing. Like some months it would be consistent and then it would drop significantly. And then I finally reached out to Carla and just said, she was offering a one-on-one intensive at that time. And I just said, I need help. So, we sat down and went through my entire backlist and like my entire brand. And basically it was some stuff I didn't want to hear, but at the same time, I am so grateful that I went in with an open mind and I really got back to my why. And that was about the time that I just decided I was going to really embrace the idea of manifesting it. I just said, I am not going to believe that I'm going to fail at this. I'm not. Like, I 100% believe. And I told her in December, I said, my goal is I want to make $10,000 in the month of March. Like, that's my goal. And she was like, you absolutely can do it. So we worked together. We worked a lot on my mindset. I did a ton of research on the top 100. And then I just started really implementing everything. Mm-hmm. And so January was, I published a book. I published every single month. The only month I did not publish is June, and you can see a dip. I actually didn't publish that month, and I didn't run any Facebook ads. And look, I still made a good profit. I still made.
Wow, that's awesome.
I think I still made like $7,000 that month.
Yeah,
$6,800. Yeah,
with no marketing and no publishing that month.
Yeah,
that's pretty sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was crazy. Like January, I started implementing a lot of the changes. And then in February, you can see all of a sudden I jumped up to like 5,300, 5,200, something like that. And then March was like $9,980 or something, and I just, it was like, I almost couldn't believe it. But at the same time, I was like, nope, I knew it. I put it out there that I was going to, and I just went full steam ahead. And then from then on, I started testing with Facebook ads like crazy, just basically spending all of my energy on that to try to figure out what's going to work best for my books and my brand and the type of books I do write in contemporary romance, steamy contemporary romance. And then as you can see, I just kept implementing those same things that I learned and that I started implementing in February, March, and it just continued to grow. And then October, I started testing some even newer things in Facebook ads. And, from there on, I had a goal to reach $20,000 a month by the end of December, and I surpassed it.
Yeah,
I did. And now every single month I'm on the upside of almost 30,000 a month now. And it's unreal. But at the same time, it's like, I know that this was possible because I have tested, I have studied till I was blue in the face, but I put my heart and soul into this, and I just said, you know what, this is it. And I truly believed that I was going to succeed. And it's amazing, but it's been, and you can see, this is not a sprint. It's not 3 months and I just dumped $20,000 into it. I took my time and really wanted to build a good foundation and grow from it.
Awesome. So we do have a question from Michelle. How many books do you have, Rachel?
Right now I have 13 books. Sorry. 2 of those are
13.
Yes. 2 of those are box sets. Okay. And yeah, so I published.
So it's not like you have 80 books.
No. I published 1 book a month. I did not publish the month of June, and I actually unpublished everything, pretty much everything that I published in 2018.
Okay.
I actually rewrote one of the books and republished it. And since then, I've just been really making sure that I basically stay on top of what's trending and what my readers want. And it's really not that hard. That's not hard I don't want people to think that I'm saying I spent 12 hours a day studying, and no, I just spend a little bit each day.
Yeah, you keep like your finger on the pulse of what people want.
Yeah, yeah.
And so this next image, again, it just shows your January earnings. Oh, so it was a little more than $684 in January of 2019, and December, $21,633. So that $21,000 month, how much of that was profit?
I spent about $8,300 in ads.
Okay, nice. So that was that's pretty sweet. Let me take out my calculator.
And the reason why that month was sometimes I don't really spend that much money in ads. The reason why that month was a little more, I would say, is because an ad spend was I was doing a lot more testing for the course material.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, you earned your profit in December was $13,300. And since then it's grown even more.
Yeah. It's been,
because these are your earnings over the last 90 days, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you sent this to me like last week or something, so it's probably changed even more because I know you've had some good days recently.
Yeah, I've had days now where I will literally spend like maybe $300 and make $1,000. So the profit margins are definitely increasing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the great thing too is because I'm putting out books that people want to read, and I'm, right now I just published book 4 in one of my series. The uptick in my read through is just amazing.
Right. Yeah.
You can see that.
And you're publishing series of standalone books, which is really important to you. So not doing cliffhangers, but even with those series of standalones, people are jumping in, reading, and then they're like, oh, I can read more books in this series, whether or not they're, maybe the same crew cast of characters or like the same niches or whatever. And then they're going through and reading the previous ones. So it's like every new release is like a funnel to your back catalog.
Yeah.
And so even on your front end, if you're not having like, massive profits off the ads on the front end, you're still getting that read through, which is like free money.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we have a question. When you republish, because you said you rewrote a book and then you published it. Did you actually publish it under the same name, or did you publish under a different title?
So I kept the same title and the same cover and everything.
Oh, okay.
And the reason why I republished it was because it was book 1 in a new series that I was putting out, but it was written in third person. And at the time I did I did not do my research and realized that first person is a much better approach to contemporary romance, especially with like that dual point of view in the chapters. So I rewrote the whole thing from first person point of view.
Oh, wow.
And which don't ever do that. Oh my goodness, that was a night. My editor was like, "What?"
Oh my
happened?
God, I know. Oh my gosh, that'd be labor intensive for sure. But I understand the quality of the book, right?
And I loved the story. It was something I wrote, and I said I like the story. So what Amazon will allow you, which is great, if you make a big enough change to the manuscript, like I did, you can actually ask them to take the reviews from the previous published book, and they will put it under the newly published book once you.
So it's a different ASIN?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
it's a different ASIN, and they did that, and it was like very quickly. It wasn't like my book was sitting there for days. And I actually treated the book as if it was a new launch. So I reran. I did swaps with it.
Newsletter swaps. Yeah.
Newsletter swaps. I sent it out to my readers and let them know. And anyone who had previously purchased the other one, Amazon will alert them and let them know that they get to download the new edition for free. So they don't have to repurchase that, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. And that was the first book in a series. And so it was great because it kind of like got people excited about what was coming next in the series. Had I just left that book alone and been like, I'm going to give up on it, maybe I wouldn't have had that success in the next 2 months. So, I think that it was worth it for me because I liked the series and I liked the story and the characters. So.
Okay, so Michelle says she's felt very overwhelmed with the idea of having to get. Do you know what? I'm going to get to all these questions at the end. We're just going to finish through the slides and then I'll get to your questions. So thank you, everyone. Keep posting questions. We're going to get to the Q&A at the end. So let's go to the next slide here. Okay, so I've worked with hundreds of students. I have many, many success stories over the past 5 years. I'm not going to just post slides and showing you all of them over and over and over again. If you'd like, you can go to carlamarie.co/success, and then you can go and check out some testimonials and some of my students' success stories. And also I have some success stories posted on my YouTube channel where you can, I have interviews with people like Rachel and my other previous students, which are super inspiring. Definitely check them out if you haven't yet. And this is what we're offering. It's my program, Fiction Profits Academy. And so you have 9+ hours of recorded A to Z group coaching intensives. So these are, these 9 hours are over a few different videos, but the videos are time-stamped, so you can see where, you can go and find the information you need. I also have other videos, 20+ videos and PDF modules to support you in your process for all the different steps of creating your business. You get membership in my Fiction Profits Academy private members Facebook group, which has all of the people I've worked with over the past 5 years. And so a lot of really knowledgeable, supportive, successful people in there who are so helpful and willing to share, which is really great. I feel like I attract a certain type of person into my program and into my world, and those are people who are non-competitive and really supportive and encouraging, which is amazing. And I also have a private newsletter swap group. So part of marketing is in this world is to connect with other authors, and you promote their book to your list and they promote your book to their list. And so I have a private group of for newsletter swaps of my students, and again, amazing people who are going to help you build your list. They'll help you send out your lead magnet to create to get some subscribers. They'll promote your books for you. So really helpful people. We have live group coaching question and answer calls with Rachel and myself regularly in the group. And so this is, occasionally we'll get together on a Saturday, and these are all recorded. And you can watch them later if you'd like as well. And you get permanent access to everything in my program. So it's not like you just have access to this for 90 days or something like that. You get it for the long term. As we're updating content, you're going to get the updates. So that's all available to you. And so in doing and offering a program, I had a couple choices. I could go as cheap as possible and try to sell as many programs as possible, but that doesn't incentivize me to really give a lot of value if, it's not priced accordingly. And just looking at the results and what is possible with what we're providing here is you can create an amazing business for yourself that can bring consistent income into your life for, years to come. So the second option is, it requires a little higher investment, but in exchange, Rachel and I can devote more resources to support your success. And so, of course, we went with the second option. And so my program is being offered for $1,997. There's a full payment option. There's also a payment plan option. And there's a bonus for the first 5 people that pay in full for the program. They will get a spot in a February intensive mastermind that Rachel and I are offering, where you can get a one-on-one call and just get further support through Facebook Messenger, that kind of a thing, just to support you on your journey. And so I'm just going to put the offer up here. Should come up on your chat on the side here. And so the offer to join the program is open for 4 days. You can join for $19.97. You can click on that button. It'll take you to the registration page for the program. And again, the first 5 who pay in full will get a spot in our February mastermind for free. So it's pretty exciting. So again, $1,997. And I just want to help you think about this in these terms. So if all the program did was help you earn an extra $2,000 per month, which is absolutely achievable, would it be worth it? Or if it helped you to learn a valuable skill set that you can transfer to other online businesses like Facebook ads, creating mailing lists, email marketing, all of these things provide the basis for so many online businesses, would that be worth it? Or if you're a writer and this program could help you turn your hobby and passion of writing into something that earns you an income, would that be worth it? So just want you to think about it in those terms and look at, how this could really benefit you and bring you closer to your goals and what you want to experience in your life. So you can get started now for just $1,997. So you can click the button on the sidebar here or below, or you can sign up at www.fictionprofitsacademy.com/bootcamp. So that URL will take you to the registration page where you can choose the full payment option, which again will give you that bonus of getting into our mastermind, or there's the option of a payment plan, which is $549 per month for 4 months. So you do get a little bit of a deal if you pay in full as well. And whoops. Oh, I already talked about that. Okay, so you have two options. Your first option is to do nothing and not take this leap of faith, which is actually 100% risk-free because I do have a 30-day guarantee where I'll give you a refund for any reason at all in the first 30 days. So you can do nothing. You can continue on tomorrow, collecting information the way you want to, or taking action or not taking action. Or your second option is to make this investment today. Say it's a small investment, but it's compared to all the value that you'll get in return. And you can just give this a shot. Again, there's no risk. You can, if it doesn't work for you, you can get a refund in the first 30 days. And so, yeah, if it works, great. If not, just ask for your money back within the first 30 days and you'll get it. I really want you to try this out. If you feel at all like this resonates with you, that you're pulled towards it, I recommend just giving it a shot, giving it a try. There's no risk involved in that. So again, 30-day guarantee. So sign up today if you don't like it for any reason. And, in this first 30 days, just let me know and we'll give you your money back. And so we can show you what to do next. Join Rachel and I. We're both here for you. We're running this program. We're going to be there to teach you, to encourage you, to support you. You can go to www.fictionprofitsacademy.com/bootcamp. You can click the button on the side or go to the URL and you can join today. And again, the cost for full payment is $1,997. And so you'll get all of these things that are part of the program. I'm really excited for you to join us and work with us and really make some change for yourself in your life. Again, we have that bonus again. First 5 people that pay in full will get a spot in our February intensive mastermind for free, which is really exciting. And I love Rachel, but Rachel's nothing special. If she can do it, you can do it. I know you are special, Rachel, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I don't know if you want to comment on any of that again, but
no, you know what? That's like literally what I tell people, because I think about it and I'm like, I didn't go to business school. I don't have a business savvy mind. I went to school for history and I love literature. And so to think that I am now an entrepreneur, to me, is almost mind blowing. I'm just like, who am I? But you know what? I think it's a leap. It was a leap of faith that I took. It was a risk. And I, every day, am so grateful. I'm so grateful because it literally changed my life.
Amazing. Love it. All right. So again, here is the URL if you want to check it out, www.fictionprofitsacademy.com/bootcamp, or you can click the link on the sidebar. And let's move into our Q&A. So we'll take questions as they're rolling in. So we have a few here that we haven't talked about yet. So Michelle says she's felt very overwhelmed with the idea of having to get 1,000 or 2,000 plus books up in order to be successful. No. Oh my God. I can't even imagine. No, you definitely don't need to. I know. So yeah, like Rachel said, she has 13 books now, which are responsible for her income, and she's publishing 1 book a month, which is totally doable, whether or not you're writing it yourself or if you're outsourcing to ghostwriters. So yes, 1,000, I can't even imagine.
No,
that's really crazy. Interesting. No. Yeah. I don't know how that's even possible. Okay. The next question, would readers get fatigued if you published a new book once every 10 days? That's a good question. What do you think about that, Rachel?
I've actually polled my audience to ask them that, and they said that they prefer like every 4 weeks, depending on the length, I think, because there are some big time authors out there. I'm talking like New York Times bestselling type authors that publish on Amazon, and they will literally publish every week almost, it seems like, but
Wow.
they're shorter. I think they're novellas. They may be like 35,000
Okay.
words.
Yeah.
But I feel like that you could do it. I just feel like it is, I like to really read through, if like if you're having a ghostwriter do it, it could be expensive to have that many books every 10 days.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you have the resources, then give it a shot. I mean, I can't speak for that because I've never done it that fast. I actually am about to rapid release. I've never done this. I have 3 novellas that I wrote, and they're all just 30,000 words, and I'm going to try that. I'm going to rapid release them every 2 weeks. So it's like every 14 days. But I'm going to give that a shot just because I've never done it, and I would like to be able to speak to it.
Yeah, that's interesting. So with that plan, are you planning on running ads to each of your releases or just book one?
I'm probably going to do the bulk of the advertising on book one with smaller incremental, to the other 2. But I'm probably going to rely mostly on read through for that. And I'll definitely run ads to the little box set that I put out for it.
Cool. Yeah, great. So next question, Rachel, you said you unpublished your books from 2018. How many titles did you have on your Kindle store in January 19? So that would be the month where you had $684. How many were on your bookshelf at that point?
I had like 4. I didn't have many. And then I unpublished another one in February. And then I published a new one in February, and then I published a new book in March. And the crazy thing is the month that I hit the almost $10,000, March, I would say 95% of what I made that month was off of that book. That one book last year in 2019 made me $40,000. I'm not kidding. I looked at that number
through the year, through 2019.
And I quit running ads on that book in
amazing.
I want to say July.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And then after that was read through.
Oh, sorry, dropped an earphone. Yeah, okay. And so that. And because I link all of my books in the back of my other books, so people can, also the great thing too about that series is I have my lead magnet. The book that I give out to my new subscribers on my email list is book 1 in that series. So it naturally encourages them that they want to read the rest of that series.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Yeah, it's pretty amazing when you're like, wow, one book made you $40,000 last year.
Yeah.
So cool. All right. Next question. How much editing do you do when you have something ghostwritten? So how much did you invest in ghostwriting, or how much is reasonable or is outrageous? For example, Hot Ghostwriter has a bunch of add-ons. Do you find those useful? How much editing do you do when you have, definitely if you have a ghostwriter doing your book, I would advise you to get a separate editor. It's totally worth it. What do you think, Rachel?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I would read through, like what I would do is I have had some books ghostwritten in the past. And what I would do is I would read through and do an edit myself. And then, which you don't have to do. I just like to, because I like to write. So I would be like, I don't, that's not the vision I had for that part of the storyline or something. So I would naturally edit it myself. And then I would send it to my editor who does 2 full rounds of editing. And so it also, for editing, it depends on what kind of editing. If you're having them do line editing, it's a different cost. If you're having them do concept and plot editing, I've never had an editor do any of that kind of stuff. I do all of my own plots and everything. But for I've never used Hot Ghostwriter, so I don't know if the add-ons are worth it or not. But if the add-ons are editing, then yes, they're absolutely worth it.
Yes.
Unless you have a creative writing and English degree. I mean, if that is
it's something you enjoy doing yourself, totally. Especially if you have a ghostwriter writing the story for you, but you want to go in and do the editing, then that would work out as well too. It's just like, I don't think you want the same person, whether it's you or a ghostwriter, you don't want the same person writing the story and editing it. You need a separate set of eyes on it.
And my editor, she's actually a professional editor, like. So she will catch things that I didn't even know were a thing. Like I misused restroom and bathroom and didn't really realize there was that much of a difference. And she'll give me full detailed explanations of like, this is why you shouldn't use this. And I'm just kind of like,
sounds like a keeper.
Yeah, she's
like a great editor.
She is. So I definitely pay her very well.
And that ties in with this question from Iris for Rachel. How long did it take you to find a great editor, and how did you find your editor?
Okay, so my editor, it was crazy how I met her. I went to a book signing for Jen Sincero's You Are a Badass here in Denver, and she was sitting next to me, and I was reading the book while I was waiting for Jen to come out, and she turned next to me and she said, "You read incredibly fast." And I was like, "Yeah, I love to read." And she was like, "You'd make a great editor." She's like, "I'm an editor." And I was like, "I'm Rachel. Let's talk." And we naturally, she was like, "How has your life changed since you started reading this book?" And I told her, I said, "Oh, I'm pursuing a job to be a full-time writer, and that's my dream." And so she was like, "Here's my card. Like, we should talk." And from there, it's just blossomed into like a true friendship. I do have a secondary editor who I use for like my editor, she has a full-time job as well, but my secondary editor I use for like the novellas I'm writing and stuff, or like quick pass-throughs. I found her through another author in Carla's group recommended her to me. I put it out there like, "Hey, I really need an editor. Anyone have, and authors are awesome. We always share those resources." So like in the group, you post that, you have 10 people coming to you saying, "I have a great editor. She has space open." So
yeah, for sure. I have an amazing group of people. They become like very close. I've made amazing friends in the group, really supportive. And I know between people in the group too, you become like colleagues. You become like really great friends for each other because you're all in the same world. You're online. Everyone's working by themselves at home. So it's really nice to have people to connect with on a regular basis. So another question, how long are your books, Rachel?
My books are about 65,000 words each book, which is considered a novel. I do have some books that are about 45,000. And then, like I said, the novellas I'm going to put out are 30,000. I tend to like the books that are around 65K, 60 to 65K. I've never tried more than that because as a writer, I think one of my biggest downfalls is I struggle to keep the book really interesting and engaging for like 100,000 words for romance. That's just not my strong suit. I found like 65K works great for me and my readers. They tend to really like it.
Yeah, they're obviously like reading through. Your results really show that. I think that's a really good length of story. I think on the high end, 80,000 words, I think. But any more than that, I think it just really depends. I think that sometimes you can really lose engagement there.
And you run that risk if you say you did a series of 5 books and they're all 100,000 words. That's 500,000 words in a box set. The read through is probably not going to be there.
Totally, it's hard to keep that pace up, like that pace of like action.
You think like more pages the better in a book, but unfortunately, like people will start to drop off if you have 5 books that are all like a steamy romance series that are 100,000. That's a lot to read, for one. But if you have a story and you want to write it for that long, go for it. But that's just I tap out.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, here's a question. When outsourcing ghostwriters, what steps would you recommend to prevent plagiarism from the ghostwriters? So this is something where you can't fully prevent it. What you can do is run your stories that you get from your writers through a program like Copyscape, where it kind of scours the internet for the content of the story. However, it won't tell you if that story is already in the Kindle store under like a different title or something like that. So the best thing to do is really, when you're hiring a writer, get to know them, even get on a call with them, like get on a Skype call, a Zoom call, interview them, get to know them, get to know their writing style. And then when you're communicating with your writer, be very specific about what you require in the story when it comes to plot points, niches that you want to include in it, like themes, characteristics, things like that are going to keep your story unique. That is going to make it like harder for someone to plagiarize. I don't know if you have any comments about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, if you can, a good way to get around that too is if you develop the story. And I know that some people just say like, I don't want to do any of that. Okay. But if you can, or you do have an interest, then if you develop the plot and the characters, it's more than likely not going to be plagiarized, because when I have used a ghostwriter, I was like extremely, detailed about my plots and exactly things that I wanted to happen. And if the writer ever took like a weird turn that I just was like, I didn't recommend that, I'm like, no, don't be afraid to tell them that. You're paying them for a service.
Absolutely.
And she would give it to me in batches. So like batches of 10,000 words. So it wasn't like, here's the whole story and then try to, no. So.
And if you're not a writer and you don't have the skills to create your own plots, then hire another writer to do the plot, hire one hire to do the plot, and then another writer to execute that plot. So that's a really great way of preventing that plagiarism. And the cool thing about hiring a writer to do your plot is you can pay for a really good writer to do like a 1,000-word plot, pay them, a good amount, even 10 cents a word or something like that. You can pay them $100 for a plot. And you can get a really well crafted story from a pro writer for that cost, for that price. Belinda said she has to leave. Thanks for the webinar. Okay, bye. Nice seeing you. Thank you for coming. The next question, do you ever share your cover designer? I don't know.
I do, yeah. I got mine from the group too. I, whenever people reach out and ask me, like, do you have a good designer you recommend? I always send them my designer, and she's extremely grateful for it.
Absolutely.
So, and there's so many, and again, there's like always reaching out to other authors because, and I joined a couple other, like author groups too, where it's just for like swaps and stuff, and people will again ask questions in there, so I feel like that's important. And I feel like finding someone that you can build a good relationship with. I really like my cover designer, and I feel like she and I have a good relationship. She kind of knows what I like now. And I think that's really important. And never be afraid to be like, she offers unlimited redos, which is awesome because you're paying for a service. Great. So you really want to have, and like you really want to get what you pay for. So don't be afraid to tell that person,
For sure. So we have a question here from Mel. Carla, could you circle back and talk about reprogramming beliefs, most effective practices? Yes, absolutely. So I think this needs to be something that you practice daily and that you really get into a habit with. And so what I've found is most important for kind of reprogramming those conditioned beliefs that you've picked up from your family, from your upbringing, from society, from people around you, is to establish first thing is to establish a stillness practice. So making sure that there is some time during the day where you just become quiet and you allow yourself to sit. I do for 30 to 60 minutes a day now, and just allow yourself to sit and focus on your breath and just be. Take that time to not do anything. You don't have to problem solve. But if your mind is still busy, you can observe that it's busy, but hold space for whatever your experience is. So it's just a matter of sitting in stillness and just watching what comes up. Sometimes when you start doing this, it feels chaotic and crazy because your thoughts are all over the place. But as you continue to do this and build a habit of this over time, you'll start to notice day by day that you're able to really like ground into this stillness. So that would be step one, part of the reprogramming process. And next, I would recommend going into a specific journaling practice where you can really focus on what you want to create. And so we've talked about this in the webinar. I actually did a post on my community group about this yesterday, about asking yourself the question, how good can it get? So naturally, a lot of us kind of fall into worry and think about worst case scenarios and allow ourselves to tell the story of the worst case scenario. And once you start to feel yourself going down that path, try and disrupt that by asking yourself, how good can it get? What is the ideal outcome to this scenario that I feel worried about? And focus on that ideal outcome. And instead tell yourself that story. So how good can it get? And write it out. So for instance, this morning I wrote out, how good can I get? Like thinking about the next few months, how good can it get in every aspect of my life? And writing down that ideal outcome and writing it down as though it's the present truth. So it's like, it is, April 20th or April 30th, 2019. And I've just done a launch for my program, and I'm able to help, X many people, and seeing this kind of growth and seeing this kind of response, and it feels really great, and really looking at the emotions that I'm feeling as I'm adopting that vision as my reality. And then once you do that, bring yourself back into the present moment and look at what are 2 or 3 small actions I can take today to support that vision, to bring myself in momentum towards this reality I want to create, this reality that is that looks at how good it can get, rather than focusing on worry. Because if we focus on worry all the time and panic and fear, when you're taking action from that place, it has a really negative, heavy energy to it, and it gets to be in that place of pushing and striving, rather than that place of pulling and inspiration. So just ground yourself daily into that thought process and that daydreaming of how good can it get. So that's what I recommend for reprogramming. Yeah, you know what? That seems to be the end of the questions. Does anyone else have a question before we wrap it up? I want to say thank you to everyone who stayed on the call. There's a substantial number of people who are still hanging out with us here, and we've been on here for an hour and 20 minutes. So thank you so much for joining us. I've enjoyed this so much, and thank you so much for Rachel for being on the call too. It's been so great connecting and sharing everything here. So if you want to, we have another question. Here we go. One more question. Why use a pen name? Seems like twice the work if you already have an author page on Amazon and a website and an email list, etc. You don't have to use a pen name. If you're comfortable using your own name, go for it. That's awesome. Some people use a pen name just because they don't want to be sharing their real name to the masses, or it's maybe their name's not suitable, doesn't sound like a steamy romance author or whatever. I don't know if you have any kind of input about the use of pen names, Rachel?
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I use a pen name is because my ultimate dream is to write thrillers under my real name, because I am going to have an HBO miniseries someday. That's my goal. Awesome. I really, I love like Gone Girl, and I'm a big Stephen King fan, so I would love to write thrillers, but I want to save my real name for that. Not that because I'm absolutely not ashamed. I tell people all the time, like, I told my HR rep when I had my exit interview, like, here's my pen name, because she was telling me that she loved to read contemporary romance. So I said, absolutely, go check it out. So that's why I do it. I think other people, it might just be, it's like, I know some men feel the need to have a female pen name or whatever, which is fine, but I think it's all just maybe personal preference.
Yeah, for sure. All right, thank you so much, everyone. Again, if you want to join us in my program, you can go to www.fictionprofitsacademy.com/bootcamp, or you can click the link in the sidebar here. I think if you're watching this on YouTube as a replay, obviously there's going to be no link, so you have to go to the URL. Probably have it posted below in the description as well. So thanks again, everyone, for taking the time today. I know you have busy lives, and it really means a lot to me that you take time out of your day to join me. So thank you. And have a wonderful evening. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.